Your Perfect Right, by Robert E. Alberti and Michael L. Emmons is a classic guide to understanding and practicing assertiveness, a critical life skill that bridges the gap between passive compliance and aggressive confrontation. The book begins by situating assertiveness as a healthy way of expressing one's rights, feelings, and desires without trampling the rights of others. The authors emphasize that many people struggle with self-expression because of societal conditioning or fear of conflict, and the journey toward assertiveness begins with recognizing that these struggles are normal and addressable. The narrative opens with a deep exploration of human rights in interpersonal contexts, framing assertiveness as an acknowledgement of personal entitlement to express thoughts, emotions, and needs. Alberti and Emmons clarify that being assertive is not about winning arguments or dominating others but about communicating honestly and respectfully. This approach immediately reframes assertiveness from a confrontational stance into a principle of self-respect and mutual respect. The book then delves into the psychological roots of non-assertive behavior. It examines how anxiety, low self-esteem, and past experiences can make individuals default to passivity or aggression. Through relatable storytelling, the authors show how early family dynamics, societal expectations, and cultural pressures can instill a fear of saying no or asserting personal boundaries. Readers begin to see that the struggle with assertiveness is often an internal battle as much as it is an external one. Alberti and Emmons introduced the subtle distinctions between passive, aggressive, and assertive behaviors. Passive individuals avoid conflict at personal cost, aggressive individuals assert at others' expense, and assertive individuals navigate a middle path that honors both their own needs and those of others. Through rich examples, including workplace scenarios and personal relationships, the authors make these behavioral types tangible and relatable, allowing readers to recognize patterns in their own lives. A significant portion of the book is dedicated to identifying personal rights. This is presented not as a theoretical exercise but as a practical tool. Understanding one's right to express opinions, to refuse requests, and to prioritize personal needs lays the foundation for assertive action. The narrative illustrates this through vignettes of everyday encounters, asking for a raise, setting boundaries with friends, or addressing family conflicts, demonstrating that rights are lived, not just conceptual. Alberti and Emmons emphasize the importance of self-awareness in cultivating assertiveness. They encourage readers to notice physical cues, emotions, and thoughts that arise in challenging interactions. Anxiety may manifest as a tight chest, quickened heartbeat, or mental hesitation. Recognizing these signs is the first step toward conscious self-expression. The storytelling approach makes these moments vivid, often evoking the reader's own experiences to reinforce the lessons. The authors provide actionable techniques for verbal and nonverbal communication. They highlight how tone, posture, and eye contact contribute as much to assertiveness as the words themselves. One memorable example involves a character who practices saying no to small requests, gradually building confidence for more significant challenges. The book interweaves these techniques seamlessly with narrative, showing readers not only what to do but how it feels in practice. Handling criticism and conflict is explored with nuance. Alberti and Emmons argue that assertive individuals are neither defensive nor combative but rather receptive and firm. Through engaging stories, they illustrate how to accept constructive feedback without losing self-respect, how to respond to hostility without aggression, and how to negotiate compromises that honor everyone's rights. The book reframes confrontation as a natural, manageable part of human interaction. A recurring theme is the connection between assertiveness and self-esteem. By practicing assertive behaviors, individuals reinforce their sense of personal worth and integrity. The authors tell stories of people who, after learning to assert themselves, experience improved relationships, reduced anxiety, and a stronger sense of control over their lives. The narrative emphasizes that assertiveness is not only a social skill but also a deeply transformative personal practice. The text also addresses cultural and gender considerations, recognizing that societal norms can shape the acceptability and interpretation of assertive behavior. Women, in particular, may be socialized to prioritize others' needs over their own, while men may be encouraged to equate assertiveness with aggression. Through nuanced examples, Alberti and Emmons encourage readers to navigate these pressures thoughtfully, balancing authenticity with social context. Practical exercises are embedded throughout the storytelling, though never in a dry, checklist format. Readers are invited to reflect on past interactions, rehearse assertive responses, and experiment in low-risk situations. The narrative conveys that growth is iterative, setbacks are expected, and progress comes through consistent practice rather than instant transformation. Emotional intelligence is woven into the framework of assertiveness. Recognizing one's feelings, empathizing with others, and responding thoughtfully rather than reflexively are central to the author's vision of effective communication. Stories of misunderstandings and reconciliations illustrate how emotional awareness enhances both personal and professional relationships. The book also explores assertiveness in professional settings, including negotiating salaries, managing team dynamics, and dealing with difficult colleagues. By embedding lessons in relatable workplace narratives, Alberti and Emmons show that assertiveness is not abstract, it is a daily tool for achieving goals, reducing stress, and maintaining integrity in challenging environments. Towards the conclusion, the authors reflect on the broader impact of assertiveness on life satisfaction. Assertive individuals tend to experience more authentic connections, higher confidence, and reduced resentment. Through a series of narratives spanning friendships, romantic relationships, and family dynamics, the book demonstrates that assertiveness can be a catalyst for profound personal growth and relational harmony. Ultimately, Your Perfect Right is a blend of practical guidance, psychological insight, and storytelling that makes assertiveness tangible and achievable. It teaches readers to recognize their rights, understand their emotions, communicate clearly, and navigate conflict with confidence and respect. By the end of the book, readers are not only equipped with techniques but also inspired by the transformation of characters who embrace their perfect right to be heard, respected, and authentic. The enduring strength of the book lies in its humanized approach. It does not lecture or moralize but instead shows readers through narrative, example, and reflection that assertiveness is a skill anyone can cultivate, and doing so can transform every facet of life.